In this Fextralife video, we're going to be discussing why now might be a great time to try out Torchlight Infinite, the latest entry in the beloved dungeon crawler series. The game has received a ton of changes since its release in October of 2022, and Season 11 Vorax just released on January 15th, bringing even more overhauls and additions to the title. Whether you're a brand new player or a returning one, there's lots to check out in this video, but first, a big shout out to Torchlight Infinite for sponsoring this video. If you guys like what you see and you want to pick up the game and check it out, you can use our link below to support the channel. The game is free to play, so there is no barrier to entry. The developers have been consistently at work improving Torchlight Infinite, trying to make it the best possible experience for players, and with Season 11 Vorax, there are massive UI changes to the interface for skills, hero traits, inventory, and the trade house, providing improved visual clarity and UI readability for players compared to earlier versions. The new UI is much cleaner with a sleek modern design, and is improved for players on PC when it comes to changing gear, tweaking skills, and putting builds together, while at the same time maintaining the unchanged layouts, making sure that the muscle memory of older players is not disrupted. In addition to the UI, some of the older hunters got improved and updated models along with monster models as well. The combat effects received a fresh coat of paint with updated visuals and effects to better translate the impact and power of spells and attacks. There is also a global lighting option for the PC version, making the already vibrant world of Torchlight Infinite more beautiful and immersive. The next thing we're going to talk about is the season mechanic, Vorax. In Season 11, the denizens of the land of Leptis are infected by a strange plague called the Vorax, and with it, the underground Mad Dr. Shelley is busy at work. The Vorax mechanic for this season will have players collect Vorax substance by defeating infected monsters who are frenzied and tougher while they are out in the Netherrealm, and once they have at least 12, players will be able to perform a surgery. This involves two phases, the preparation phase and the surgery, which is actually the combat phase. In the preparation phase, players will need to incubate monsters from 4 different types of families, Amberon, Bone Sentinels, Agito, and Pests, with the goal of getting the ultimate activity as high as possible, which directly will boost loot. This is done through various elixirs and potions to manipulate the incubation of monsters through fusion, mutation, and stimulating their activity. The higher the total activity across the tanks, the better the loot drops are when fighting the corresponding monsters. Each monster family will have their own unique mechanics that can be used to the player's advantage for maximal efficiency of farming loot. For example, the Agito family of monsters rely on the Awakened mechanic, increasing the rarity of monsters for maximum gain, and the rewards will lean more with intelligence. Another family of monsters, the Pests, specialize in reproduction and pack density, and focus on filling the screen with hundreds of enemies in the combat phase. Prioritize raising the quantity of pests as high as possible during the preparation phase, and planning for massive kill counts using fast-paced farming builds will greatly increase the effectiveness of each Vorax surgery. After a set amount of preparation rounds are complete, players will move into the surgery phase, which is the combat phase. This is a combat arena where players will fight the custom monsters that they've created, and defeating them will fill the antidote vials. The amount of filled vials will determine the payout of loot and the reward tiers given by them. With Vorax comes a new crafting system, Grafting. In addition to the traditional loot, Vorax will introduce new Vorax gear. These are completely different from normal drops, as their attribute pools are not limited by the attributes, meaning intelligence affixes such as increased energy shield can roll on dexterity gear, enabling players more freedom when putting their ultimate builds together. This allows mixing of stats that normally cannot coexist, and opens up the possibilities for stats like armor, evasion, and energy shield to be grafted on a single piece, greatly enhancing survivability. Additionally, legendary gear can be broken down in Season 11, extracting its unique power affixes as a core organ. These can then be grafted onto Vorax gear, up to 2 legendary mods per item, without gear or attribute-specific restrictions, opening up endgame build potential greatly. And at the endgame, once players have obtained high-tier Vorax gear, they can take it to the blacksmith for Vorax corrosion. While this is not a guaranteed outcome, if players get a favorable one, the affixes can be upgraded for improved effect. The next thing we're going to talk about is changes to the endgame, the perfect place to make use of all the grafted Vorax gear and loot. The first is the Supreme mode with Fluoro 20, introducing a brand new boss to the game, the All-Seeing Prophet, which will test positioning, awareness, and reaction speed of players. There will also be a Supreme Showdown Floor 21 with a revamped boss, Night Slayer the Wilting Plume, who will be stronger and more dangerous than previous. The previous season's mechanic, the Overrealm, is now a permanent, fully upgraded system with new compasses and a star talent tree dedicated to farming more loot and talents, revealing special objects to appear on the Overrealm map, helping the overrealm become smoother, faster, and more rewarding. There are also more ways to farm kismets and compasses through targeted farming using the talent trees, along with recycling systems for support skills and compasses. Season 11 Vorax helps streamline the League start experience with better early game loot, making the game a bit more forgiving and beginner-friendly. And in the endgame, death will no longer wipe stacks of progress, lessening many players' frustration. Another thing that's being changed is the way the damage cap works for monsters. Instead of enemies gaining huge amounts of HP, making them bullet spongy at the higher levels, the scaling will now come from damage mitigation, allowing high DPS builds to feel powerful. The punishing map modifiers have also been toned down, making it less likely to be one-shotted by some specific monsters with some specific modifiers. Ethereal Prisms also received an update, now having an option to protect your core talent while crafting, and the new recycling and reforging system will help upgrade the bad drops that you may get on your run. Classic modes such as Cube, Dark Surge, and Sandlord are also getting quality of life updates, ensuring players have a more streamlined experience during the end game. The next thing we'll be taking a look at is the Season Pass specific new hero trait for Cat Eye Erica Vendetta Sting. The new trait is designed entirely around two things, proximity and speed, allowing players to dash around monsters quickly, taking them down as they blitz across the map. The trait will allow movement skills to automatically trigger main attack skills so that attacks will happen without the need to ever stop. The trait will offer an extremely fast, fluid, and high-risk gameplay, allowing players to be constantly in motion while delivering devastating bursts of damage. Along with this trait, there is a new quality of life feature called Camera Slow Motion, helping prevent players from getting dizzy from all the high-speed visuals. The slow motion will help give players a stable, clear view of action while they are tearing through the map. Spellcasters also acquired a new mechanic through Tangle. This is a unique form of spellcasting where instead of hurling the spell, they are laid down as traps and will be planted inside enemies once they come into range. Tangled enemies will have the spell autocast upon them repeatedly for the full duration, and once the initial tangled foe is killed, the spell will spread to nearby enemies. This offers new ways for casters to combo their spells and destroy their enemies as they traverse across the map. There are also new unique support skills added with the latest season, such as Legion, which will double clone count based on nearby enemies, and Synchrony, which allows clones to line and slam together, creating a focused shockwave. These are just examples of some of the new skills in the game, with a total of more than 100, and you can check out the complete patch notes to get a rundown of all the new skills and changes to the old skills in the game, because that would be a whole video in itself if we did it here. In addition to all the above mentioned new features and changes, there will be seasonal events and seasonal missions with up to 30 legendary pack spirit draws and exclusive weapon skins and upgrades for players to obtain. There will be new cosmetics for Hunters Erica and Yuga, reactive back accessory, and new visual overhaul for the God of Might trial, along with new packed spirits, the intern Shelly, and Kitty Express for Season 11. Final thoughts. If you haven't played Torchlight Infinite or have not been keeping up with the game's news, the monetization has received some massive changes way back in Season 6, and it's definitely for the better. Every hero is free except for the latest seasonal one, and the addition of seasonal free pack spirits really helped players by providing them more freedom to try out different characters and builds, and if you know anything about this channel, that is what we are all about when it comes to gaming. It's clear that the team behind Torchlight Infinite is passionate about the game and is constantly at work on the title. There are clear improvements in the 3 years since the game's launch. The streamlined process of putting a build together through different skills and gear, and the less hardcore nature of the endgame, makes it a solid option for ARPG players to easily jump into without a heavy time investment. For more hardcore fans of the genre, Torchlight Infinite presents a less intense and viable in-between or secondary game rather than a grind-heavy main game for players to enjoy. So that wraps up our video on Torchlight Infinite, covering the new changes that came with Vorax Season 11, the 11th season of the title. This is a game that continuously gets updated over the years, and by my estimation from everyone I've talked to, it seems to just get better and better over the seasons. And as I mentioned, it's free to play, so there's not a lot of risk investing your time into it, and it's one of those games that, you know, you can just pick up and play a little bit here and there, maybe in between your main ARPG. And because the game is on both PC and mobile and has cross-save features, you can play on your PC, and then when you're out and about, maybe like riding the train or wherever, you know, just waiting for some people, you can play on your phone and then go back to your PC and have your progress saved, which is really great. So big shout out again to Torchlight Infinite for sponsoring this video. If you guys want to help support Fextralife and, you know, help support what we do here on the channel, you can use our link below to do so.